What's up, guys? This is your COVID-19 daily update brief for April 3rd, 2020. Current time that all this information was gathered was right around actually 2020 Eastern Standard Time or local time for me. So before we get into all the numbers, just like my last video, I kind of want to go over some of the main headlines, kind of what's going on in the news today. So U.S. hospitals are beginning to report shortages of critical medications, especially those that ease the assault of respiratory systems, right? And New York is saying right now that within the next 5 to 6 days, they expect to have zero ventilators as far as the amount of patients that they have that need the ventilators. They're not going to be able to have enough ventilators for the patients. Uh, Guys, don't expect this headline to go anywhere over the next couple of weeks to month as the virus continues to grow, the cases grow, the death rates grow. Each state is going to start reporting that they don't have enough medical supplies or critical medications or even ventilators. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it's going to be. So expect this headline to kind of stay around for a little while, unfortunately. Next, and this is no surprise, right? The CIA has warned that China has vastly or is vastly understating its infections and that its count can't be relied upon for models predicting the virus's course. Wow. And that is literally the reason why I have not looked at China's numbers at all. I don't have China in here, right? Just like I don't have South Korea in Taiwan, not because they're fudging the numbers, but because they contained it really well and they did an excellent job. And there's really no reason to track them because we can't really predict our models off them. But the China thing, I mean, come on, you're not fooling anybody. Oh, looks like I had two of the same headline. So go ahead and we'll forget that third one. But the CDC has been preparing to recommend that everyone wear face coverings in the public. Again, not a big surprise there. If you saw my last video, I talk about the benefits of wearing a face mask, even if it's a homemade, just cloth over your face, DIY face mask. It has to do with viral load, infectious load, and basically reports saying that with coronavirus patients in ICU, they're seeing a viral load that is 60 times higher than those with mild symptoms. So if you're curious about that, check out the last video. I kind of go in depth. The next headline was supposed to talk about the uh, uh, U.S. naval ships Mercy and Comfort that docked in New York Harbor. I believe Comfort has 20 patients right now and Mercy has 15. The reason why that is they're pretty picky. They're not taking any COVID patients, as well as the ships can't sustain patients for many other medical needs. So they're very picky as far as like which patients are able to accept, which patients are not. Um, we'll kind of see if that changes over the next couple of days to week, right? If they start getting more medical supplies and or doctors that are capable of doing other procedures. So we'll kind of track that. I didn't mean to put the two CIA ones up here. One had to do with Mercy and Comfort. So yeah, there's your news, your headlines, kind of what's going on around the country. So let's go ahead. We'll jump right into the numbers today and see what we have. So as far as total cases, we're at 1.1 million. I said by tomorrow, the 4th, we'll have 1.2 million. So we're right on track for that. Again, though, I don't really like to follow cases. Total deaths 59,158. That's up 6,000 from yesterday with a 12% growth in the last 24 hours, 10% growth for the total cases confirmed to, in case you're wondering, 102,000. So this roughly actually jumped up by about 80,000 cases confirmed, or excuse me, 20,000 cases confirmed. It was 80,000, jumped up to 102,000. Good news is the case fatality rate dropped again. It's roughly at 6.1%. And this is how I determine my case fatality. Cases confirmed 7 days ago to total deaths today. So my key assumptions that I made, guys, I'm probably not going to be tracking Italy too much. The reason is or at least making key assumptions. Italy continues to flatten, right? Their curve continues to flatten, which is a good thing. We can still kind of predict our future and our models off of Italy. But as far as their death rate and everything, I probably won't continue to track that. As far as like when I assess it, they'll double by how many days. We'll kind of track it in other ways, basically through this and then through our prediction models and projected outcomes. But my key assumption for the United States was that it would double from 6,000 to roughly 11,000 by the 5th. What I'm tracking right now with my updated calculations and models is that on the 5th, we'll probably rate around 10,500 deaths to low 11,000. So that's a good thing, right? That means we're not increasing percentage per every 24 hours, right, as fast as we were. It is slowing down just slightly. However, that could still change. That doesn't mean anything exactly right now, but I just wanted to update you guys and let you know kind of where we're at with that. Because I don't think, unless we have some big numbers over the next few days, that we'll hit 11.8. I think it's going to be 10.5 to 11,000. So expect that. Uh, my other key assumption was that we would expect the US to pass Italy and Spain in total deaths by 8 April. We're still tracking 8 April. As I continue to update those models, I'll let you guys know if that changes. But right now, it's still looking like 8 April is the magic date that I'm tracking. Uh, but again, over the next few days, that could change. That could go out to like the 9th or 10th if we see this number right here continue to drop. So that's a good segue over to country deaths. Currently, United States is at 7,392. United Kingdom is 3,605. France is 6,507. Germany is 1,275. Spain 11,198. And Italy is 14,681. The good news is, guys, is that in the last 24 hours compared to yesterday's growth, these numbers are all down, right? United States had a huge drop, 7% drop. Incredible. Uh, France went down from 34% to 21%. And again, Italy stayed the same. They've been at 6% now the last few days, which is a good thing. They're doubling every 11 days now. Spain is up to 6. Germany is right around 4.5. United Kingdom and France is 4 days, and then United States is still kind of doubling every 3 days. But I want to pay attention to this number two that I've been tracking. I just haven't had it up on the screen for you guys to see. Is that the average growth rate over the last week is 27% for the United States, with a close second of 25% for United Kingdom. And then France was doing well, right? Except the last few days, um, they jumped up significantly. Um, so they were roughly at like 15%, but with the last 2 days where they've had greater than 1,000 deaths each day, that number went up quite a bit. Germany, surprisingly, has been right around 20%. The virus probably just as good as some of the other countries we've seen, as far as South Korea, Japan, Taiwan. Uh, so I expect this to start going down, this number right here. And then again, if you've been following the channel, Spain and Italy's numbers continue to drop as far as their growth over the last week, 5 days, and every 24 hours. So let's go up here, guys. I'm going to make this bigger. This time I didn't lock it into the graph, so I apologize about that. All right, pull that right there. So hopefully you guys can see this all right. I know it is a little small, especially yesterday when I had it locked in. But right now, United States has increased roughly 300 critical patients. Italy went up roughly 15. Surprisingly, Spain, they were right around 150, 200-ish patients a day. Right now, they're looking at about 300, so they did add another 100, which isn't a huge increase, but still not something that we want to see. Germany, again, hasn't changed. France went up a few hundred, which is good, right? Considering this number right here has been alarming. As I said before, 1355 and 1,120. And then we have Iran, right, which didn't really increase all that much. But what I want to focus on here, guys, is in the last 24 hours, the U.S. did post its biggest number as far as deaths go in a 24-hour period, 1,321. Um, I expect that number to continue to rise over these next few weeks, especially once we go into the apex, as we start getting closer to the apex, which is the 16th of April, if you've been tracking that. And that, again, is according to IHME's modeling, which is where the Corona Task Force takes their models from. So we'll watch that. But again, I expect that 1,300 to continue to rise over the next few weeks. So we'll get into the states, confirmed cases, and their confirmed deaths. Again, this is including New York. I break it out, not including New York, just because New York is so far ahead of everybody. They're roughly at 103,000 confirmed cases with 3,218 deaths, which is crazy. So if we break it up without New York, the states that I've been tracking right now, Louisiana is the only state doubling every 72 hours in confirmed cases. But, and there's always that big but, if we come over here to the deaths, New Jersey, Connecticut, Michigan, New York, Illinois, Florida, and Massachusetts continue to double every 3 days, or they do double every 3 days. Some of them were doubling every 2.5 yesterday. Now they've kind of gone closer to 3 days rather than the 2.5. Illinois had the highest growth over the last 24 hours at a 34% increase. They went from 157 deaths to 210 deaths in Illinois. And if you're curious what the deaths are, New Jersey currently has 646, Michigan 479, Louisiana 370, California 275, 210 for Illinois, as I said, and then we have a lot of them, Massachusetts, Florida, Connecticut, right around that 190 to, yeah, Connecticut's at 131. Then Virginia, 46, I think 34 for, yes, South Carolina, and Maine had 2 more deaths in the last 24 hours. They went from 7 to 9. So very unfortunate and tragic, and like I said, expect a lot of these ones. New Jersey, Michigan, Louisiana, and possibly California, but at least these three, right? I mentioned to start watching them, especially over the next week. Expect those numbers to get above 1,000 here pretty soon. Then here's the projected growth that I talked about. So it did change a little bit, right? The United States was like kind of more up here, but as they continue to slow down, basically all 3 countries, Italy, Spain, and United States. That's going to change every day. So I'm continuing to update this so we have kind of a good estimate. But again, right now I'm still tracking in about 4 days is when we start to pass Italy and Spain as far as total deaths go. And by my projections, that's right around 19,900 deaths at that point. Yeah, that's the COVID-19 daily update. Hopefully you guys found some useful information from this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for me. If there was something that I said that was not correct or was inaccurate, please let me know so I can fix that and adjust it for the next video. I don't want to give you guys false information or inaccurate information at any time. But I will catch you guys tomorrow for the next COVID-19 daily update.